Hi there. We are going to continue our conversation today, and we are going to discuss approaching our health, as you say in your book, Susan, before our boat reaches the waterfall. And I've heard too many people say before, and I've been guilty of saying it myself in the past, that if I'm ever diagnosed with fill in the blank here, then I'll stop eating processed foods. Then I'll stop eating red meat. Then I'll cut back on my alcohol. So, where does this mentality come from, and why is it so difficult for us to approach our health in a proactive way?
That's an interesting question. Wow, great for the community. Thank you for that question. What happens is we get into so many habits, the habits of our mind, and then the habits become habits of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And we become almost, when we could step back, we're not addicted, but when we can't, that's when I say the boat goes towards the waterfall. And when we get there and we start hearing I heard this when I was young, training with the masters that I've trained with, you hear the rumbling sound of the waterfall and you want to turn your boat around, but by then it's a little bit too late.
Mm-hmm.
You usually go over the waterfall and then you could recover, come back, but you do sometimes take a little bit of a spill because we get into a habit. It's a safety. I think one of the biggest things that people have that keep them locked into that habit is fear.
Mm-hmm.
Fear is something that we want to medicate ourselves if we feel fear. And I've done it with food. Who doesn't? Suppose you have a deadline or something to do, or you want to eat snack all day. Remember during the pandemic, they were talking about, people were saying, they were writing in and saying, I'm snacking all day. How do I stop?
Yes.
And we've worked with some of them, and it's okay. I've always told people, I remember I work a lot. I mean, a lot of people that I work with are healthcare providers. And I said to one of them, lovely, lovely person out on the front line, and she says, God, I'm going into work and we're eating cookies or donuts. And I said, why don't you enjoy that and say, I'm nurturing my body? You're having something that's beautiful to feel. You're enjoying it. It's giving you comfort. Why not? You're dealing with death and dying all the time. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You see, that's where we have to really be flexible.
Mm-hmm.
And when we're flexible with our thinking and learn how to maneuver that and maneuver the boat, it's okay. You don't have to wait till you get to the waterfall. And we could develop habits. I mean, remember, people have always asked, what are the habits that I do every day?
Yes.
So
People
that
are
I
always
could
asking that.
so that I could maneuver my boat.
Yes.
Because my boat heads to the waterfall too. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
human being just like everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
I have to work with it. Well, the first thing I do is I make sure that I have enough rest. Without rest, we can't recover. Now, we talk about sleep, but sleep, I think it was an event that I did where I was saying there's a big difference between sleep and rest.
Mm-hmm.
If we have restful sleep, that's great. But
Yes.
rest is a learned response, and you have to prepare the body and the mind for rest.
Mm-hmm.
And it's too much to get into in this segment to just talk about that. That's a whole segment.
Yes.
And they can read the book where I talk about rest or any of the classes, because I do spend a lot of time on learning how to breathe for the rest and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Then meditation. Every day is meditation. And that's meditation with also contemplation.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I? What do I want in life? What's my intention? Why am I here? Answering those questions really sets the intention for a positive direction of where I'm going. You only have to ask the question, and that answer will come from within you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I do move in alignment. I'm always moving my body in alignment because I talk about energy centers and some of my knowledge base in traditional Chinese medicine. We talk about the meridians and how we move, and those channels need to be opened. If those channels are not open and flowing, we're going to create disease. We're going to hit the waterfall.
Yes.
And then positivity.
Mm-hmm.
Each day, training my own mind that if something comes up, there could always be a negative little thought that pops in. But knowing how to steer that boat away from the waterfall of negativity, right? That's a waterfall right there.
Yes.
Steer it back before it takes hold.
Mm-hmm.
And recognize that. And then, of course, diet and nutrition. I'm always paying attention to that and making sure that I eat the food that I need to operate this organism,
Mm-hmm.
and work with my consciousness, because food gets deposited in our consciousness totally. And I'd love to teach a whole course on food and consciousness, because that's something that's right up my alley. Because when I combine the biochemistry with
Uh-huh.
the actual ability to work in the psychological functions of the mind,
Mm-hmm.
it you could cure things. Think I don't cure them, but people can
Mm-hmm.
heal themselves. That's a better
Mm-hmm.
way to say it. And that's very exciting.
It
So we
is.
want to steer our waterfall away.
Yes.
I'll let you
Yeah.
talk.
Yes.
I get into
Yeah.
this. I have passion for
Well,
it.
I know I was just going to say, I think food and consciousness will be a great subject to teach on as well, because when our community questions come in, I would say, I don't know, 6 times out of 10, they're about food and nutrition and diet, because it's just so ingrained in our culture. And I want to thank the community person who sent in this question today. And if you guys do have more questions for Dr. Taylor, then please go ahead and make sure that you're commenting here on the YouTube video, that you're sending your questions to susantaylor.org, because this is where this meat comes from that we get to talk about, and we get to, digest. We get to to put it in those food terms,
Yeah.
but that we get to talk about here and have this conversation with you. So make sure that you are sending in those questions. We'd love to get them.
Okay. And get a nice kayak or rowboat, or maybe
Yes.
one with a motor that will take you in the other direction.
Right. Let's all steer away from the waterfall today.
Yes. And for the new year.
Yes, and for the new year, steering our boats into 2021. I like that whole premise. I think that's a great one. Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Dr.
Yeah.
Taylor. Thank you so much for letting us sit in on this with you and teaching our community. It means so much.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon.
Bye.